Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today is the 1st of December 2013, and that of course means that it is my 2-year anniversary of being the Album Man. Yes, it was on the 1st of December 2011 that I decided to upload my first ever album review, which was of course the Spaghetti Incident by Guns N' Roses. And wow, I mean, that feels like an age ago. It feels so long since I put out that first video. So here I'm going to be looking back over the last 2 years, particularly over the last year, some of my thoughts and feelings on it, and some of the highlights and things like that. So I thought this would be a fun video. Okay. So, the first thing I have to do, of course, is thank everybody who has watched my content over the past 2 years, who has subscribed, who has commented, who has liked. Just, it really means an awful lot to me, and I appreciate, without you as an audience, then I would just be some guy talking to themselves. So yeah, I mean, obviously, thank you very much for watching my content and putting up with me for the last 2 years, especially you really older subscribers. So, let's have a look at, some of the statistics of the last couple of years, only a few, but, so, 580 subscribers, which, I'm just so pleased about, 166,163 views from 318 videos, 2,902 comments, 2,230 likes, and 357 dislikes. So overall, I'm pretty damn pleased with that, over 150k views, and, loads of subscribers and likes. That's just, that's all. Well, 580 for me is loads, for most it's literally nothing, maybe what they get per day. And then some of my most viewed videos over these last couple of years, at number 5, Apocalyptic Love by Slash, which has about 5,000 views. Number 4, Flying Colours album review, 5,750. Number 3, The Next Day by David Bowie, which came out in 2013, of course, which got 7,000 views. Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses review, 8,740. And my most viewed video is my remake of my Spaghetti Incident review, which has exactly 10,277 views as of this video. And I decided to remake that video when I was doing my Guns N' Roses discography, so I wasn't too happy with how the first one came out, my first video, but we'd be taking a look at my first video a bit later on in this video, because, it's a bit of fun to look back. So first, as a prelude, before we get into a bit of detail about this last year, I'm going to just be showing you a little video of clips that I put together that I think sort of sum up the Album Man over the last couple of years, so enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Album Man. Jeff, we've been listening to Empire and Operation Mindcrime, and they're fucking shit. David Go Die in a Hole Drayman, it's a true work of art. It's the most emotional, impactful, deep album I've ever heard.
It's even the last real Guns N' Roses album.
None of Black Veil Brides are talented. Their songs are a load of mainstream crap. This album is a musical masterpiece. I actually liked your cynicism, and then you voted for David Mustaine. This guy, he's a joke. You clearly like classic rock. One look at the background shows that, which is fine. But you clearly hate all new metal bands, Five Finger Death Punch and BVB. I couldn't agree with you more. Let me state that again. Go die, bitch.
Paul McCartney was dead.
Does this album live up to the hype? A 10-year wait? Or is this Bowie's Chinese Democracy? Long live, long live, long live, long live, long live, rock and roll. Okay, so I hope you like that little clip show, just some of my personal sort of favourite little things, and things that have happened in the last 2 years, especially, as I said, this last year in 2013. So let's look at some of the coolest moments of, this second year of being the Album Man. So one I of course love was when Todd Latour, he posted on his Facebook page after my review of Queensryche's self-titled album, he posted, "Well-spoken young lad, reminds me of a little Mick Jagger too." Bottom line, we are reaching many generations of listeners and a wide demographic, smiley face. And that was just so cool to have someone like Todd Latour, who is such a talented vocalist, actually find and like my album review. But the coolest thing, I have to say, probably this year. So you might know that in 2012, my favourite album of the year was Anathema's Weather Systems. I love Anathema, and Weather Systems, it's one of the greatest albums I've ever had, to be quite honest. It's in my top 10 favourite albums ever. So that shows you how much I like that album, and I did a full album review in 2013, and it was so cool because Daniel Kavanagh, the songwriter and lead guitarist and backing vocalist of Anathema, posted, "Thank you so much, album man, Dan XX." I mean, wow, that just took my breath away. That was just so awesome for him to actually thank me for my review. I mean, oh my god, that was just beyond cool. And then a couple of things from subscribers which have been so cool that I received this year. For example, I got sent these pictures from Sacred Mother Tongue, signed To The Album Man from Andy James, and signed To The Album Man from Glenn Hughes, and these got to me by Hub and Ann. I mean, just such a fantastic thing. I mean, I love Glenn Hughes and Andy James' Sacred Mother Tongue. Great musicians. So that was so cool for someone to just send those just because they like my stuff. And also, of course, the logos that have been designed by Matthew Phillips. They've been so cool. I love those. Look so much better than my old logos. They'll be appearing around here or something, a couple of them. And yeah, so they're very cool, especially the Christmas one. That's just amazing. Okay, and another cool moment was, I kind of liked it. I got a partnership with the network Fullscreen. I've never really talked about that. Most of you may not even know, but yes, I am partnered with Fullscreen. Why not? AdSense was a bit annoying. I didn't like AdSense that much, and AdSense has a habit of banning people. Now, I've always said I don't do this for the money, but my philosophy is, well, I'm going to do it anyway, so why not monetize it, to be honest? And, as a result of monetization, though, God, I really earn an absolute pittance, I don't know how some YouTubers can make a living off of this. Bloody hell, I certainly couldn't. But, I managed to buy the Blue Oyster Cult box set as a result, which was pretty cool, so yeah. And now we're going to look at some of my favourite videos of my second year. So I'll be showing, some of the videos sort of overlaid and talking a little bit about them, just some videos I really think defined this year for me. So the first video I have to talk about, which was one, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but I loved doing this video, one of the most fun videos I've ever done. This was my Holiday 2012 special, Top 10 Musically Defining Moments of 2012, and this was posted on the 29th December 2012. Oh my god, this video, I had so much fun doing it. If you don't know it, there'll be links in the description of all these videos. And basically I sort of sing along and dance to and random crap to the worst pop songs of 2012. So rewording of dancing to Call Me Maybe, and Taylor Swift, and rewording Hot Problems, and doing Gangnam Style, just loads of random crap like that. I don't know if there's been any good enough songs this year to really do it. I might resurrect it. There's been a couple. Maybe Alison Gold's Chinese Food. I could put Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. So it might come back this year. But that was such a fun video. I enjoyed that one awful. Even though it did get a content ID match, which is a bit of a pain. Luckily, it didn't turn into a full copyright strike. But that was good. I was a bit worried at first, but one of my favourite videos, I always love doing this. I said, my top 25 albums of 2012, posted on the 1st of January. I always see it as the most important video I upload of the year. It's the video I say, I work towards, I'd say, for the whole year. Every single time I listen to a new album, I always think about, if it'll get into my top 25 of the year list, you know, whereabouts, things like that. I take an awful lot of time on these lists and spend even more on my 2013 one, as I messed up. I missed out a couple of things on the 2012 one. I mean, I hadn't listened to the albums at that time, so, you know, but, you know, I wish in hindsight I put on, like, Baroness's Yellow and Green and Woods of Eat, Woods 5, you know, and Testament's Dark Roots of the Earth as well. Also, my biggest video of this year, The Next Day by David Bowie. I was so happy with how that review turned out, and I was surprised by how, like, there weren't that many people who actually reviewed this album. I think I managed to get the, have the first even video review on YouTube of this album, so that was pretty cool. I was happy I managed to do that, and yeah, certainly got a lot of views, and the main thing, a lot of people liked it. A lot of people really seemed to enjoy the review, and yeah, I got quite a bit of praise for it, so that's always nice, and that was a fun review to do. I remember doing it in one day, just listening to the stream on iTunes about 4 times, and oh my god, that was a tough review, I have to say. One April Morning. If you haven't seen this, this is probably my favourite video, maybe, I've ever made. One April Morning was just completely random. So I uploaded this on the 1st of April, and this was for April Fool's Day, of course. And it involves me just, you know, waking up one April morning, of course, and going downstairs in my house, and then finding a combination between Rick Astley and an octopus in my kitchen, and then having a dialogue with him about a new Guns N' Roses song. Yeah, it's a weird video. The the new Guns N' Roses song, I think it was called "Cannibalizing a Newborn Child." it was something. It was like hashtag YOLO cannibalize a newborn child. It was like the worst name for a song ever. But I loved doing that video. The heaviest editing I've probably ever done. But that was an awful lot of fun to do. If you haven't seen that, I would check it out. It's definitely one of my favourite things I've ever done on YouTube. I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. A video that sort of signalled the start of the series, which really I should have, you know, something that annoyed me with this year, let's say. So Please Please Me by the Beatles. This album review. The thing is, I like doing the Beatles discography. You know, I love the Beatles, and it's been getting a good reception, except for my Beatles for Sale review. People weren't as keen on that because I was a bit negative about the album, let's just say that. But it's been going down well. I've been just so slow at doing it. I mean, considering this was uploaded 13th of April, I mean, it's the 1st December, and I still haven't done Rubber Soul. Yeah, I've just done Up to Help. So what? Please Please Me with the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, and Help. Only 5 albums in this discography I've actually covered. So that's pretty poor, and I'm pretty annoyed at how slow I've been this year doing it. Definitely going to carry on. God, you know, I'm not going to quit. I like this discography. I'm enjoying it. I just don't know why I haven't been quicker about it. I mean, you know, put it in perspective, with you like Thomas the Rockaholic, in the same amount of time, pretty much, I've been doing my Beatles review. In that amount of time, he's already reviewed the entire Rush and Iron Maiden discographies, and it's just like, oh my god, and I can only review 5 Beatles albums. So yeah, that's been a bit slow. Of course, something that every YouTuber had to make a video about this year, pretty much, was the Xbox One. I mean, it's not my most original video, obviously. I mean, it was as unoriginal as all hell. But yes, on the 22nd of May, when the Xbox One was announced, I did my Fuck Xbox One video. Of course, all the DRM, and yeah, that was... I enjoyed making that video a lot, and honestly, I planned to make it, you know, beforehand about all the DRM and crap like that. But, it did sort of, you know, after I uploaded it, as everyone else on YouTube had already done a video like that, it felt a bit unoriginal and, you know, maybe a bit unnecessary, superfluous, as everyone was really expressing the same views, and I think too many people, including myself, made too many videos about the Xbox One, really. But it was a fun video. I like, you know, having a rant like that, and like talking about video games, which I know some of you don't like me talking about. Yeah, you know, that's cool, but I like talking about them from time to time, you know. I'm never going to flood the channel with them, but there you go. A review that I found was difficult to do, but I think I managed to pull it off 29th of May, my Super Collider by Megadeth review. This was definitely one of the most controversial albums of the year. It really split opinions almost down the middle, with some people decrying this as one of Megadeth's worst efforts, up there with things like Risk. Some people even say it's worse than Risk. And then others saying that, well, like myself, that it's actually a pretty good hard rock album that, yeah, it's not as good as Endgame or, you know, in the modern era certainly, and I don't think it's quite as good as 13. I like 13 quite a bit, and obviously it doesn't compete to, you know, Peace Cells, So Far So Good, and Rust in Peace, obviously. But I enjoyed the album quite a bit. I give it 7.5 out of 10. And, well, I was surprised by the amount of positive feedback to this review. I was expecting to get a shit ton of hate. I mean, it seems a lot of other album reviewers got a lot of hate for Megadeth reviews, because it seemed like pretty much everyone in the album review community reviewed this album. It was just one of those, you know, events of the year that you had to talk about. And it might seem to go down pretty well, actually. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting a lot of hate for actually liking the album. But, yeah, it seems quite a lot of people agreed with my review, so it's always cool. The video that certainly took the most amount of time doing this year, this was just ridiculous, my Is Paul McCartney Dead Rock Tales 1. It was meant to be a series, Rock Tales, for those things, but I've never made the second one. I do plan to. It's in the works, but, oh my god, it's just that Paul McCartney one. It took me so many hours. It's ridiculous. It's, if you don't know, it's a sort of 20-minute documentary-style video exploring the Paul McCartney was dead, died in 1966 rumour, just after the release of Revolver. And of course popularised by the album cover of Abbey Road, which has him with the bare feet, in you know, stepping out of time with all the rest of the Beatles. And that took a big toll on me, that video. It really did. It took so many hours to find the research alone took bloody ages, and then to actually write the script for it, find all the pictures and edit that thing. I didn't know editing could be so time consuming, but it took me maybe about 4 hours of just editing, which for me, editing, that's a long time, because I usually spend about 5 to 10 minutes editing. So yeah, that was a tough video, but I'm really happy with how it's gone. It's certainly picked up pace, like view-wise and stuff, and people seem to like it, even though there's still quite a few people commenting on it who don't like it because they actually think Paul McCartney is dead. Okay, I certainly don't think he is, but, you know, believe what you want. Well, this is my favourite of the series, which, you know, I didn't do as much this year as maybe I could have done, but, you know, it's a good series. Feeding the Trolls 7, I Want to Hit You. I particularly liked this Feeding the Trolls on the 23rd of July. I love the Feeding the Trolls series. I think it's a really fun thing to do, and I've just brought it back with number 8. Yeah, it took about 6 months for it to come back, but it's a fun series to do, make fun of all the bloody hate, and we'll be talking a bit about the trolling a bit later on in this video. And yes, this is going to be a kind of long video, just accept it. And yeah, we'll be talking a bit more in detail about the trolls, but I think it's a great way to sort of, you know, get out, you know, your feelings on the trolls, really, and, you know, it certainly stops them from getting to you if you just absolutely take the absolute piss out of them, I'll tell you. And last, well, no, actually, I think that's pretty much, maybe, you know, some things, like, I definitely liked my Diving Board by Elton John album review. That worked well. I was pretty happy with how that turned out. I think that's one of my strongest album reviews. But there was some stuff maybe I would change. My Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold review. Looking back on that, I feel, I wouldn't say I was disrespectful to the band, because I think they deserved a lot of the criticism I gave them. I thought it was a very generic album, and I thought they stole, you know, a lot of their riffs from other bands. There was the song that sounded eerily like Sad But True, the one that sounded like Guns N' Roses' Back Up Bitch, you know. There was a bit of plagiarism almost going on, and it, you know, it deserved criticism, but I think it was trying to be a slightly humorous review, and I don't think the humour really came out on that review, unfortunately. No, I think some people took it a bit too seriously, and maybe I didn't get off the sort of the more jovial, casual nature of the review quite well enough, and portrayed it slightly a bit too serious than it was actually meant to be. It was more just meant to be a bit of fun, poking fun at them, instead of, you know, one of my slightly, you know, more serious album reviews. So yeah, that was a bit annoying, and you know, there's a lot of the early reviews, you know, when I've, you know, looked back on them, you know, decided to, you know, watch a couple of minutes from some of my early reviews of this year. A lot of things don't like. I was especially towards the beginning of, you know, sort of 2013, looking far too much like, you know, at like the screen next to me, like almost just like staring like this instead of looking at the camera, which I've been trying to improve. I think I have improved, and also I feel my, definitely my confidence in front of the camera has improved over the last sort of year or two. I mean, if we do just, you know, we'll do a little comparison here, and you can see for yourself. So first we'll take a look at my album review of Leonard Skinner's Last of a Dying Breed, which was published in late October 2012. I still do love old Skinner, you know. Anyway, so does this album repeat the success of modern influenced southern rock, or does it show that band with only one surviving member left, which is Guy Rossington, even though I'd sort of claim Ricky Medlock is a survivor? And now I'll take a look at my latest album review, New Horizon by The Answer. Chanting the name of the song with a big guitar riff and a raw feel that really just starts the album quite wonderfully, I have to say. Now Leave With Nothing, and this has some nice sort of, you know, Hendrixy wah-wah before Paul plays the main sort of Paul, and I definitely think that I come off, you know, a bit more confident in my later album reviews. I'm definitely not more pleased with the quality, and especially how shocking my hair looked back in 2012 when I had to keep it short. I think it looks a bit better now, even though everyone and their dog seems to want to complain about it. But yeah, I definitely think, I don't know what to call it, camera presence or whatever has improved. Not as good as, you know, people like Cover Killer Nation or something, but still, you know, I've definitely improved. I mean, if we take a look, and I would like to, let's take a look at my first ever video, which of course was the, as I said before, the Spaghetti Incident. So we'll take a little look at that.
Fifth studio album, and well, I said last, but of course they did release Chinese Democracy a few years ago, but I count this really as the first, I mean it's even the last real Guns N' Roses album. And of course this album was a major disappointment to many fans. But is this a disappointment?
So as you can see, I mean, the actual camera quality is pretty bad, and I mean, using a little microphone is not really the most ideal way, and I speak very quietly, and yeah, it's not my best video. Well, one of the reasons I remade it for my Guns N' Roses discography, to be honest. But you know, it still holds a fond place in my heart, because I remember excitingly uploading it, and you know, things like that, and it brings me to sort of you know, my overall thoughts on the last 2 years. And one of the things I've seen a lot of, you know, having to quite a few YouTube reviewers and, you know, just, you know, other types of content providers on this channel is that when they get towards their second year, you see a lot of people sort of just get burnt out, go on long hiatuses and never really come back, sadly. And I've seen many a channel that I've enjoyed just fall completely. But I've never really felt particularly burnt out doing the album reviews, I have to say. It's like, you know, as long as I review a wide variety of stuff, if I just reviewed a certain genre, then yeah, I probably would get kind of bored. But because I review a lot of different stuff, as I always say, rock, metal, prog and blues, and lots of, you know, variety and subgenres in that, I don't really find myself getting bored, and especially as I don't stick to just album reviews. I mean, I'm sure you know I do a lot of other, mostly music-related videos, but still, you know, just lots of other, you know, different things, just to, you know, keep things fresh and exciting for me. And I think that's definitely the best way to avoid getting burnt out. If you just do one of the same type of thing over and over again, then you're just going to get so bored. And of course, the other thing that, you know, has got to me in the past, but doesn't anymore, certainly, is trolls. I remember, Revolver Golden Gods award video, my infamous video, and yeah, there's like the week after that I just didn't upload a single video, not because I didn't have the time, because I didn't want to. It's the only time I ever genuinely considered quitting was then 2012, about March, I'd like to say. You see, that was my, if you don't know about it, then it's basically, I talked about my opinions of the Revolver Golden Gods Awards that year. I was quite critical, and I got an awful lot of hate, and that was I'd had bits of hate here and there, the odd, but it was just literally, I'm talking about 20, 25 comments on that video. Then the Revolve posted it on their Facebook page, and there was about 50, possibly 50 hateful comments on that Facebook, and that was just in a short, few days, and that was just a bit overwhelming, to be honest. I was only a few months into YouTube, and that amount of hate, that really, really got to me, to be honest. I was pretty upset, to be honest, and I did just consider quitting. I just thought, right, I don't want to be dealing with this. Let's just throw in the towel. But obviously I'm pleased I didn't, and I think defeating the trolls is, a very good way to, sort of vent annoyance about trolls, because, sometimes they can be really annoying, but just taking the absolute piss out of them, it makes trolls a lot more fun, to be honest. The last thing I want to talk about is just how really I've done a lot better than I thought I ever would, to be honest. You see, I've had strings and strings of channels before, probably, I said before, at least maybe 10, something like that, and all of them not very good. I'm going to be taking a look at one of my first channel soon in a video, which that'll be quite a lot of fun. But, I posted random random videos, tried to do some comedy stuff, and this was when I was about sort of maybe like 11, 12, and it ended up really just being a little bit creepy, some of it. Not actually that funny, and like no one ever watched it, really. But yeah, here, 160,000 views, God almighty, and 585. I remember, I'll tell you, on my old first channel, which as I said I'll be talking about next week probably, I was a sub for subber. Like, no joke, I was one of those people. I would send people private messages, I would type in sub for sub, and I was big into that. It was me and one of my friends were having this sort of competition to get the most subscribers, and just increase the number, basically. Didn't mean anything, but yeah, both doing. It didn't do that many. I think I only ended up with about 25 subs on that channel, but still, pretty much all of them, maybe 3 of them or something were legit, but most of them were sub for subs. And this channel was really the first where I didn't do that. I remember even on one of my channels I did a view boosting method. I did, yes, naughty, I know. But it was this website where you put up your link, and you watch other people's videos, and the more people's videos you watch, then the higher up on the list your video goes for other people to watch. So it's like that. And I would just leave this thing running overnight, so of course I would get quite high in the listings, as 24/7 practically. My computer was watching these people's videos, obviously muted, but I got quite a few views through that way. I even did one thing where, I don't know, I can't even remember, some website was just giving away free 1,000 views or something like that. So yeah, I used to use a lot of illegitimate means, which I'm a bit ashamed of, really. But I'm pleased with this channel. I decided for this channel that I'm going to go completely legit, and it's definitely a more rewarding process. There's nothing very exciting about receiving 25 subs when none of them are going to watch your content, and they just sub for subs, or about getting 1,000 views or something when none of them were real people who actually cared about your content. But instead of having 160,000 of, well, some people completely hated what I had to say, but at least they wanted to know what I had to say, even if they hate me for it or like me for it. And that's definitely something cool. I'd say one of the weirdest things I found, I remember when I first uploaded as I said, the Spaghetti Instant video, I was on my inbox. I have a special email account for TheAIbumMan, and I was on the inbox desperately, hoping for comments, constantly refreshing the page to see if I got any views, all excited, looking for likes and dislikes, and especially the comments. And I remember when I got my first comment, I was just so, ecstatic. And the weird thing that I find so odd is that excitement about comments, honestly, has still never left me. Quite literally, every single day in those 2 years that, well, certainly that I've had access to the internet, obviously days I couldn't, I have, when I come back from school, I eagerly, the first thing I do, check my emails to see if there's been new comments, new subscribers, and I get excited, literally, like, each and every day to do so. It's a bit odd, surely it would have worn off after 2 years of doing this every day, but no, I still get excited about receiving comments, subscribers, private messages, whatever, things like that. It's still, it's still just as exciting as it used to. I honestly thought, I get a bit bored just, lazily not, but I check every single comment, and usually only within a few hours of when they're posted, I do still, as I say, get excited about it, which is a little weird, I have to say. I didn't think, I care for that much, but I do, I really do care quite immensely. So yeah, I mean, again, all I really have to say is, thank you for watching my content, for supporting me, for liking, even the dislikes, the trolls. I mean, hey, you get my videos up on Google's search rankings so that people who want to, people who like my content will find it. So, even the trolls are helpful in leaving comments, of course, so all those hateful comments, they've just helped boost my search ranking, is another way to look at it. And I want to, give a big thank you to the whole album reviewing community. It's, a nice vibe in the album reviewing community, I have to say, and a particular thanks to people like Thomas the Workaholic 11, Midnight Strike 3625, The Strong Boys 19, Chainsaw, Iron Metal 222, and someone else I also have to give a thanks to, even though I've never spoken to them whatsoever, is Metal Couch, because he was the person who mainly inspired me to actually start this, and without him, I don't know if I would necessarily have started this, so I'm very, very influential on my channel, so I have to give them some credit there. As I said, never, ever remotely spoken to them, and they probably don't even know of me, so there you go. But this has been TheAIbumMan. Thank you so much for watching for these last 2 years. Well, no one actually subscribed on the first day, so less than 2 years, but you know what I mean. Or, I have to say it with me, long live rock and roll.